There is a palpable, suffocating tension hanging over Fairmont Crest these days, and it all centers around the terrifying, blood-soaked shadow of the plasma ring and its ruthless leader, the Impaler. We have been watching this storyline build for months, piece by agonizing piece, but the latest developments have completely blown my mind. The psychological warfare, the hidden agendas, and the sheer, unadulterated danger have reached a boiling point. I am sitting here trying to process the absolute magnitude of what is happening between Police Chief Elon Hawthorne, his deeply traumatized son Jacob, and the enigmatic casino boss Joey Armstrong. The stakes have never been higher, and the collateral damage could be catastrophic. Let us start by dissecting this incredibly tense, high-stakes meeting between Elon and Joey. This was not just a casual conversation. This was a high-level game of psychological chess between two men who operate on completely opposite sides of the law. Elon has disturbing, chilling information for his son, Jacob, and it all stems from this clandestine sit-down with Joey. Joey explicitly warned Elon that Jacob needs to be far more careful and that he must absolutely not challenge the limits of the Impaler. Now, Elon is no fool. He is a seasoned police chief, and he has always suspected that Joey is deeply involved in the illegal plasma trade. He knows Joey is a man who thrives in the gray areas of morality. Yet, despite his deep-seated suspicions about Joey's criminal ties, Elon looks into the casino boss's eyes and believes the warning. He believes the sheer terror and urgency in Joey's voice. So, this makes me wonder, what does it take to make a hardened man like Joey Armstrong break a sweat? The answer is simple and absolutely terrifying: his own flesh and blood. Joey wants to cool down Jacob's relentless, fiery hunt for the Impaler because Joey knows a dark, twisted secret that no one else in town has figured out. The Impaler is none other than his own sister, Heather Armstrong. Joey knows Heather better than anyone, and he knows that if Jacob pushes her too far, if he makes her truly angry, the consequences will be unimaginably horrific. Heather is a sociopath with an international crime syndicate at her fingertips. Joey is acutely aware that Heather's wrath is unpredictable, violent, and completely devoid of mercy. But let us be absolutely clear about one thing. Joey is not doing this out of the goodness of his heart. Joey is not playing the hero to save a noble police officer. No, Joey is a pragmatist. He is protecting his own territory, his casino, and his carefully constructed empire in Fairmont Crest. He knows that if Heather unleashes a bloodbath in the town, it will bring the full force of the FBI, the local police, and the media crashing down on his doorstep. Joey wants peace and quiet to run his own illicit operations, and a rampaging serial killer sister is extremely bad for business. He is trying to manipulate the police into backing off so he can handle Heather his own way. This brings us to the agonizing dilemma facing Elon Hawthorne. As a police chief, his duty is to take down criminals, but as a father, his primary instinct is to protect his son from certain death. Elon is terrified for Jacob's safety. He knows that Jacob is currently operating on pure, unadulterated adrenaline and grief. He knows that he cannot simply order Jacob to stop the hunt. Jacob is a grown man, a dedicated officer, and a man possessed by the ghost of his best friend, Derek Baldwin. Elon realizes that demanding Jacob to stand down will only push his son further away and make him act more recklessly. Therefore, Elon makes a heartbreaking, desperate choice. He decides to provide Jacob with all the disturbing information he learned from Joey, hoping against hope that this terrifying intelligence will force Jacob to be more cautious, to prepare himself, and to protect himself from the impending slaughter. When Elon sits down with Jacob to deliver this grim warning, you can feel the emotional weight crushing both. Elon reminds his son with a heavy, trembling voice that the Impaler is ruthless, merciless, and completely devoid of human empathy. He begs Jacob to consider the reality of what they are dealing with. When the Impaler strikes, there is no hesitation, no remorse, and no survivor. The sheer cruelty and brutality of this criminal mastermind do not need to be proven. The bloody trail of bodies, the warehouse shootout, and the tragic, senseless death of Derek Baldwin have already demonstrated exactly how gruesome and horrifying this syndicate truly is. Elon is practically begging his son to look at the facts and realize that he is poking a sleeping dragon. But that is not all, because Elon's desperate attempt to protect his son backfires in the most spectacular, tragic way possible. Instead of instilling caution, this warning acts as pure gasoline poured directly onto the raging fire of Jacob's obsession. The sheer aggression and perceived invincibility of the Impaler only make Jacob want to pursue her even more relentlessly. Jacob is a man drowning in severe post-traumatic stress disorder and suffocating survivor's guilt. Derek took a bullet that was meant for him. Derek died so Jacob could live? In Jacob's fractured, traumatized mind, the only way to honor Derek's sacrifice, the only way to ever find peace and sleep through the night again, is to put the Impaler behind bars or in a body bag. My theory is that Jacob has crossed a psychological point of no return. He is no longer just a police officer doing his job. He is a vigilante on a holy crusade. He does not care about Joey's warnings, and he certainly does not care about his own safety. He is willing to burn his own life to the ground if it means taking the Impaler with him. This reckless, suicidal determination is incredibly dangerous, not just for Jacob, but for everyone he loves. His wife, Naomi Hawthorne, is already dealing with the devastating emotional toll of her BRCA-positive diagnosis and the looming reality of a double mastectomy. The last thing she needs is a husband who is actively courting death. Jacob's obsession is creating a massive rift in his marriage, and I am terrified that his tunnel vision will end up getting Naomi caught in the crossfire. And the most chilling, terrifying aspect of this entire storyline is the dramatic irony that we, the viewers, are privy to. Jacob is tearing the city apart looking for a shadowy, elusive crime boss, completely unaware that the monster is already inside the house. The sheer aggression of the Impaler is endangering everyone because Heather Armstrong is currently hiding in plain sight, operating mere inches away from all of our favorite characters. She is not hiding in some underground bunker in Europe. She is walking the streets of Fairmont Crest, drinking mimosas at the country club, and embedding herself into the daily lives of the people Jacob loves and protects. Just think about the sheer audacity of Heather's action. She has dangerously infiltrated the inner circle. She is sitting in the back room of the casino, pretending to be an innocent, quirky friend to Vanessa McBride. She is sharing drinks and swapping life stories with Danny Dupree, manipulating these women with a chillingly calm demeanor. Vanessa, who is already so anxious about Joey's criminal ties, is blindly welcoming the most dangerous criminal of them all into her life. Heather is playing them all like a fiddle, gathering intelligence, observing their weaknesses, and preparing to strike. Furthermore, Heather is actively terrorizing other residents. She interrupted Andre Richardson and Danny's romantic date, striking pure, unadulterated fear into Andre's heart because he knows her from his dark, hidden past in Europe. She cornered Andre in a hotel room, aggressively blackmailing him and demanding he give her what she wants if he wants to keep his marriage intact. She is taunting the investigative journalist Smitty, practically daring him to expose her, completely ignoring Joey's frantic warnings to stay away from Martin Richardson's political family. Heather is a chaotic, destructive force of nature, and she is thoroughly enjoying the twisted game she is playing with the residents of Fairmont Crest. So this makes me wonder, how is this all going to end? The collision course is set, and the impact is going to be devastating. What happens when Jacob finally discovers that the monster who ordered the hit that killed Derek is the very same blonde woman who has been sipping cocktails with his mother-in-law, Danny? The betrayal and the shock will be absolute. Will Jacob lose his badge and his morality in a blind rage? Will he cross the ultimate line and become a killer himself to stop her? And what about Joey? Joey is desperately trying to control a situation that is fundamentally uncontrollable. He thinks he can manage his sister, but Heather respects no one and nothing. My theory is that Joey is eventually going to be forced into an impossible, tragic corner. When Heather inevitably targets Vanessa, because we all know Heather loves to play with her food, Joey will have to make a choice between the woman he loves and the sister who shares his blood. Could we see a scenario where Joey has to put a bullet in his own sister to save Vanessa's life? Or will Deanna McBride's ongoing sinister psychological warfare against Joey inadvertently trigger a chain of events that exposes Heather to the presence of the Impaler in Fairmont Crest is a ticking time bomb, and the timer is rapidly approaching zero. Elon's warning to Jacob was meant to save his life, but it has only accelerated the inevitable confrontation. The danger is not looming on the horizon. It is sitting at the table with them, smiling and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Heather Armstrong's proximity to the Dupree, Richardson, and Hawthorne families is the most brilliant, terrifying twist this show has pulled off in years. I am absolutely on the edge of my seat, waiting to see who survives this impending bloodbath. Will Jacob find the justice he so desperately craves, or will his obsession lead him to an early grave right next to Derek? Will Naomi lose her husband just as she faces her toughest medical battle? Will Joey's empire crumble under the weight of his sister's psychotic ambition? And who will be the next innocent casualty when Heather decides she is tired of playing games? The tension is unbearable, the stakes are life and death, and I cannot wait to see how the writers unravel this magnificent, terrifying web of deceit and murder. Let me know all your wild theories in the comments below, because in Fairmont Crest, absolutely no one is safe.